Hey there, Harley here with HD Cards and Collectibles, and I'd like to welcome you to another very exciting interview. This special guest is one of the top 100 eBay sellers when it comes to TCGs. He's sold about 100,000 items and still has about a 99% positive feedback score, which is pretty impressive for that kind of volume. Please welcome Andrew with GemTCG. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Andrew. Before we get started, I'd like to discuss how exactly you're involved in the Pokemon business space. So, to my knowledge, you mainly focus on eBay now, but you did sell on TCG Player and even Walmart at one point. And from the video I saw in 2024, I think you did over $250,000 in revenue between those three platforms. So also, as far as I understand, you're doing this all part-time while working full-time as a software engineer. Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about where your business is at now and exactly what you're up to?
Yeah, solid intro. It feels like you did a lot of research, so I appreciate that. But I started, I think it was during COVID time, so like 2020, around that time, and then started dealing with bulk and doing TCG Player because that's where bulk was primarily sold. And then I transitioned to eBay because bulk was just taking up too much time, especially with, COVID like ending and then having to be in person more often and college and now, full-time job. So right now, primarily I'm focusing on eBay. And last year I did 250. I'm not sure if that was from the payouts from those like marketplaces or the actual sales revenue I did, because those two numbers are like pretty big in difference. And then I'm looking to grow that number, like just buying more inventory and selling more. So it's been exciting so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think the 250,000 might have been revenue. I know for sure that profit on the video was like around 20 grand ish. But I can't remember if like the gross sales after fees, I can't remember what that number was.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Yeah.
So before we get into any of the like hard hitting questions, I wanted to first do some rapid fire fluff questions. So the first one here, what first exposed you to Pokemon?
As a collector or like as a seller or both?
Both. Just like in general, like what was your first experience with Pokemon?
Honestly, I don't know if I started playing the video games first or collecting like the cards first, but when I was in elementary school, I used to trade with my friends, like the cards. And back then, I think it was like Crystal Guardians time. Like those were the sets out. And so that's like pretty long ago. And then that's how I got into like the cards. We used to trade and also go to the stores and buy packs with like if our parents took us. And then the games, I think I got a Nintendo DS and then I used to play I believe it was Platinum. That was my first start with that. And I always loved the games, like just going through and playing them. And I don't know why, but I always just used one player, made it OP, and then just like tanked the whole thing. Which is probably not the best approach, but I don't know, it's the easiest for me.
Yeah. I also tend to just have like a really OP starter or a really OP Pokemon, and then the rest are at least kind of neglected. Yeah, sometimes super neglected, other times like just a little neglected, but neglected to some scale.
Yeah.
What is your all-time favorite Pokemon?
I think honestly Blaziken would be my number one, because I think that's when I believe that's when I first started playing. So it's just association right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. For me, it's Umbreon, which is really unfortunate because I have like a long-term goal of every Umbreon card, and they're very expensive.
yeah. Even like the cheaper ones are still a few dollars each, which is crazy.
Yeah, not a cheap Pokemon to collect by any means. I have a feeling I know what the question or the answer to this question is going to be, but what's your favorite generation of Pokemon?
Yeah. I'm not good with the names. Like I know there's Sinnoh, Kanto, and all that, but whichever one had Blaziken as the starter or like Torchic, that
Yeah.
line, my favorite. Because also, I believe Sceptile, it's also from that generation too. So I've always
Yeah.
liked that era.
Yeah, I think that's Gen 3. I may
Three,
be
yeah.
incorrect, but I think that's Gen 3 because I think Gen 2 was Cyndaquil.
Yes, yeah. And then Mudkip is the fourth one, I would assume. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is the third. Yeah.
Awesome. What is your favorite TCG gimmick, as in like megas, tag teams, Terra Pokemon, that sort of thing?
I don't know if this counts, but Delta species, like that's always been my favorite. I think mainly probably because that's when I first started collecting. So it was like I still remember the Holon Phantoms Pikachu. That's one of the like first cards that I really liked. So definitely those Delta species ones.
Yeah, I had a Holon Phantoms stamped Delta Species Charmeleon, I think. And that obviously sold pretty quick on eBay.
Yeah, people like the stamps. I feel like lately they've been selling pretty quickly. Like when I list them.
Yeah, absolutely. Last fluff question here. If you could only have one, anime, TCG, or games for Pokemon?
Okay, this is funny because I was watching the Pokemon video you had, and then he was like, if I got rid of the TCGs, then I would be out of a business. So I would have to keep the TCG, and then probably the game. I never watched the anime that much. Probably like here and there, I'd watch an episode, but games and TCG for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the like OG, I think Indigo League is what it's called. Back in like the early 2000s. Outside of that, I might have watched the anime around when Diamond and Pearl was out, and that's probably about it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into some beginner-friendly business questions. If you had to start over from scratch today, what strategies would you use to try to be successful?
Well, it's a good question. I think it's very important for people that are trying to learn this, and I think it boils down to like how much time you have and also what your budget is. Like if you have a lot of time and maybe not a lot of budget, I would say get into the bulk game and just go through bulk, look for some competitive cards to sell as singles on TCG Player, and then maybe do bulk lots with those cards or like with the rest of them. And then if you have more cash to play with but less time, I would say go in your Facebook groups and reach out to people saying you're buying collections, paying like 70-80% if you can, and then flip those on eBay. So that way, you're putting less time in, but you could still make a decent amount of money with those margins. So that's probably what I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend getting into like sealed or grading cards because I feel like grading takes a lot of skill, and sealed you need a lot of like cash to start with. So probably wouldn't recommend those two if you were to start right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I tried to do the Japanese sealed thing. It did not go super well, so I pivoted back to TCG Player and eBay, and that's doing a lot better.
Nice. Yeah. I took a risk too with the Japanese. I bought of course, my first time getting into it, I bought Battle Partners, and like that was one of the weaker sets lately. So I've just been sitting on some booster boxes right now, but it's all good.
Yeah. I was able to like sell off mine to a local card shop, luckily, so I was able to like free up most of the capital I trapped there. But
that's good.
You kind of answered the next question, so we'll move on to the third. A lot of people hate on eBay and TCG Player and other platforms. You hear a lot of like FeeBay and other like comments complaining about the fees. What is your take on that? Are the fees worth it?
Yeah, I have like a full form video on this too, and I talked about how, like, sure, fees suck. Like, no one wants to lose 13% off the rip off like just a fee, and then you have to also promote to get a lot of sales, and then discounts too. Like, it adds up. But then when you think about, how much audience eBay is bringing you and TCG players bringing you, it pays off, because if you sell on Facebook, you have to directly, or even like card shows or anything off of those two platforms, you have to manually find people that want to buy from you, which means you have to put in time, like very long times, to just find those buyers. And your reach is a lot smaller too. So it's like, sure, you might keep more profit from those sales, but your audience is a lot smaller, which means you're getting a lot less sales. So I think, selling on those platforms, you can make more sales and keep less profit, but in the long run, your profit overall would be a lot larger.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's been my experience so far. Like, just the amount of traffic that eBay and TCG Player bring in. Like you said, the fees suck, but it's hard to, not go with it, because the traffic definitely justifies the fees.
Yeah. Plus, a big thing is, like, you don't even have to sell things for the actual, like, market price, I guess, if you want to say that. Because, like, I've listed cards. I listed one actually that sold the other day, the Shining Legends Mewtwo, like the secret rare one. I sold it for 600, but the market price is like 480. So you wouldn't get that if you're selling locally or on Facebook, because most of those people are looking for a deal and they want to haggle and negotiate, which is fine. But you're like a lot of people use that market prices this amount, but if you were to sell it there, you would take that fee. So I'll just offer you what that price would be after the fee anyway. So it's like you're just losing on both ends. It's just, I don't know. I don't recommend it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone wants a deal.
Yeah.
If a new business owner paid you for your advice, what is the one most important piece of advice that you would give them?
I think a big thing would be being consistent and not focusing on like the noise from all the social media. Because if you look at last year, people were not interested in Pokemon and investing, and like people were saying it's all crashing or whatever. And then you look at this year, and now everyone loves it. Everyone's buying it up and all that. And if you were to be like listening to a lot of the social media at that time, you wouldn't have bought inventory during the bear market. And then during this bull market, you would have been, like losing out on a lot of sales or a lot of profit, because you can't make as much sales because you can't get as much inventory. And then, so just being consistent on those, both bear market and bull market, will like pay off in the long run, because I have tons of like illustration rares that I bought last year. And then this year, during that hype, when everything was going up, I made like 2 to 3 times the profit. So,
oh wow,
you just gotta like go with your gut and just keep buying and selling inventory, and don't worry about anything else, honestly.
Yeah, I think like investing, that would be like dollar cost averaging, just always buying in.
That's exactly how it is, actually.
Yeah. That way you on upswings you're capturing some of the upside, and on downswings you're buying it while the price is getting cheaper.
Yeah.
Last beginner business question here. What are a few mistakes that you see pretty much every new business make?
I feel like there's quite a few. Let me try to think of like some good ones or like common ones. I guess one thing, like a lot of, I guess, beginners and even veterans, or like people that have been in it for a long time, is they have a big ego, and like a fragile ego almost, is like they try to sell things, and if someone doesn't want the deal or like they don't want to pay the price that you're asking, they'll get angry with them and start being like rude to them. And I think that shows how like I guess less experienced they are if they're doing that, because a lot of times like if a deal goes wrong or like I don't buy from someone because the price is not matching, like I'm not offering what they want, sure, that deal might fall through, but in the long run, like they might come back to me and sell me another collection or like reach out with another collection. And that happens like tons of times. So I think when people get emotional and like start being rude to other people, it has a chain reaction, because like if someone's rude to me, like if I have the time, I might say, don't buy from this person. Like I might make a post if they try to scam or something like that. And that will lead to other people having that person on the radar to be like, okay, let's not deal with this person because of how they are. And then just like, yeah, that's, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if I explained it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, just people getting like real bent out of shape and just awful customer service in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, I've had times where people didn't like the rates I was offering, and we couldn't come to an agreement. So I was just like, no problem, have a good one. Like, and left it at that, and just tried to be as polite as possible.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Like, just be nice, and then, there's so many people selling stuff and buying stuff. You don't have to be fixated on that one deal,
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd like to dig into your business just a little bit. So how exactly is your eBay business structured? Do you just buy collections and bulk at like a certain percent and flip it, or is there more to it than that?
Yeah, so I think starting with bulk, like when I first started, I was dealing with bulk. It's been hard to like not do it anymore, because anytime someone reaches out with bulk, I'm like, I can't pass it up, because I know the value that's in there. Even though it's time consuming, I still deal with that. So when I get collections, the singles go on eBay, and basically anything recently, especially recently, like I've been listing everything on eBay. And then if I see trainer cards or like competitive, any type of card, like the Pheasantipity, it's like a $15 EX card. That stuff I will list on TCG Player. And then with the like excess bulk, I will do bulk lots. So it's basically just buying and selling collections, and then also getting the most value out of the bulk that comes with it.
So how have you leveraged your software engineering skills to help you with your Pokemon business, or have you at all?
Yeah, actually, ever since I started the software engineering part and the Pokemon business at the same time, almost, because I used to be pre-dental in college. And then the first thing I tried to do was I tried to build like a PSA graded TCG player marketplace where you could just upload the certificate number, and then have the listings generated. But that failed. PSA didn't want to work with me on that. And I've always just tried to find like different ways to use software to make things faster. Another thing I created, actually, that I just launched earlier, like exactly like a month away or a month before this, was TCG Automate. And it's basically like you upload pictures of your cards, and then it generates eBay listings for you. And then you could just take that downloaded file and upload it to eBay. And I boast that you could, list 1,000 cards an hour with it. But basically the reason why I built that was because I just like listing a bunch of cards, even if it's a low end card. Like I get tons of sales of people, going through my store, and they buy 10 Slowpoke cards or 10 Pikachu cards, and there's value in everything. And that's something that also TCG Bulk Kings talks about. Like the phrase he uses, are you familiar with that? It's like every card has value, I think.
Yeah.
And I tried to just like utilize that and just make listing as quick as possible, because the more you can list, the more sales you can make, which then, more profit, and then you could keep repeating that cycle. So it builds on top of each other. So that's one thing. And then another one was TCG Spike that I developed with a friend of mine, and it just tracks all of the TCG player market price trends. So like one recent one was the Lucario V-Star. It showed that this card went up 20% overnight. Keep an eye out for it. And then another card dropped 20%. So like maybe now's a good time to buy it. And just like using things that could speed up processes and make you aware of trends going on is what I focus on for building software for this business.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because the more you can streamline processes and save time on listing or whatever it may be, you know, the more you can do other things and make more money.
Yeah. And that's one of the cool things with like a lot of the people in this industry are also they're like experienced with coding too, and I see them building like these crazy tools that could just make things so much faster, and it's always cool to see stuff like that.
Yeah. I the only coding I know is like HTML and CSS and a tiny bit of JavaScript. So it's all like web-based coding. So, and that's all I've got. So watching people build software has always amazed me, because I don't fully understand it.
I feel like even me, I barely understand it, but you know, it's just you just got to figure things out over time.
Yeah. Are you comfortable sharing any rough numbers on the revenue you've generated so far in 2025?
Yeah. I don't mind. I feel like I try to be as transparent as possible. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I do know what eBay showed me because I looked at it yesterday, and it said this year. So actually, I don't know if it was this year, like so far, or in the last 365 days, but it showed 199,000 in sales. And I think, it makes sense to be just this year alone. So 199 for eBay. And then I think TCG Player was around, I believe I do like 1,000 a month. I slowed down really, really heavily on TCG Player. So like 1,000 a month. So it's probably, just for a rough estimate, I've probably done like 200 to 210 so far this year in revenue.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. So on track to do 300 to 400.
Yeah, I would assume 4, because like right now it's in a slow period with the summer happening, and then in the winter, holiday season, everything goes up and people start buying a lot. And also with the 30th anniversary coming, I don't know, I feel like it's just going to keep building and getting more hype over time.
Yeah, that's fair. I just started my business January 1st of this year, so I haven't even lived through a holiday season yet. So I forget that everyone says that it gets a lot busier around that time.
Yeah. No, it gets really busy, especially if you have like, I think sealed product does really well too, but everything just gets really popular.
Oh yeah, I bet. Going back to 2024, like I said earlier, you made about 20,000 in like net profit. How much of that did you take out of the business, and how much of that did you like reinvest into the business to buy more collections or whatever the case? Yeah.
So I don't necessarily pay myself like a lot. I think I pay myself like 500 a month, like take out of the business, because I still live at home with my family, so I don't have much expenses other than just food if I want to go out or like doing events and stuff. And so I keep pretty much everything in the business, and then all of the money just gets recycled, because I don't care to like have a big profit right now. I'd rather just continue growing the business and just getting more inventory. So I think probably like 95% of that just gets reinvested into new inventory, which is why that profit number is so much smaller than like the actual sales number.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And great for you for still living at home. That's awesome. I wish I had the opportunity. I would have lived at home for as long as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely helps. I am looking to get a house though, like, because I got engaged last year, and then so we're looking for a house right now before our wedding and all that. But I don't know. We'll see how those numbers change because like I'll have more expenses, but I'm sure I'll be able to survive.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I didn't realize you were engaged. That's awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
And then the last question that I wanted to ask you about your business specifically, do you have a revenue goal for this year?
Uh, for I think like I would be really happy to see like a big 500K, just because I don't know. I feel like it would be cool. I don't necessarily like think like, oh, if I don't hit this number, it's a failure. It's just going to be like cool to have. But I think getting 500K would be ideal because another thing is like it's a lot of lower end cards from what I sell. So getting that revenue up higher takes a lot of time. Other than some cards I have are worth like 1,500, like those alt arts, Sword and Shield. But majority of my cards are like $2 to $5. I've been slowly growing into that like 20 plus range, but majority are below 20. So just getting that would be pretty cool, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, I personally list anything that's less than $20 on TCG Player. And then anything that's $20 or more, I list on eBay. Just because that seems to move better that way for me. And then that way I charge for shipping on eBay. And so far it's going pretty well. But that way I can like charge for the shipping to pay for the bubble mailer and all of the tracking and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The shipping gets crazy. I just filmed like a little short video yesterday because I saw the month breakdown, and I think it was like 1,600 in shipping labels in 1 month. So it's like this stuff adds up big time.
Yeah, shipping is definitely one of the bigger expenses for sure. So I'd like to get into some hot takes now. In your opinion, are there any singles that people should be trying to snag right now?
So like right now, as in like what's hot right now, or what I think would be hot right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was like, for things to like peak and hit that like hype, like things have been happening with the illustration rares earlier this year, and then the tag team GX right now. I feel like it needs to be unique but also rare. And one thing that's been on the downturn, and I think is really cool, it's like the trainer gallery cards. And I know it's already had its hype multiple times, but I think they're just really cool cards, and those will probably go up again in the future. And also illustration rares, I would say would be a good long-term buy to resell because they're down like 40% right now for the most part, like 40%. So if you're buying in right now, there's a lot lower downside versus if you're buying like a tag team GX card right now that's already 5x in price. So
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of Trainer Gallery, Galarian Gallery, and just assorted Scarlet Violet era illustration rares in all of the collections I've bought recently.
Yeah. Especially the special illustration rares, because those are like a lot more rare and like a lot cooler in the artwork. I think those would do really well long term.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I have a ton of special illustration rares in my listings right now.
Yeah.
And then you answered the buy and hold question. You think illustration rares are definitely the long-term hold?
I would say so, because if you even look at like, I would correlate special illustration rares from right now to like maybe alternate arts, probably like the V alternate arts. I don't know if they're as rare as the V Max ones, but like if you look at how those went up in price after the Sword and Shield block ended, I feel like the same thing is going to happen with those, and they'll just go up over time. And maybe like Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's about it for the buy and hold type cards.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Scarlet Violet block is over now as soon as Black and White
Mhm.
releases. So, yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure they will start to creep up as they get harder and harder to find sealed.
Yeah, yeah. We'll bookmark it here. We'll check back like a few months from now and see how it's played out.
The next hot take question: do you prefer a hot market or a cold market for business purposes?
It's a good question. I think like the combination of it makes it perfect, but if you play it right. So like in a cold market, if you're buying up a ton of inventory, even sealed product is like a great way to make money in a cold market. If you're doing that properly, when that hot market comes in, you'll be doing like amazing, which is what happened with me last year and like leading up to this year. So I think in terms of, I mean, it's pretty like a I think obvious in a way, but if you're buying stuff during that cold market, that's what I prefer. And then when it comes to selling, obviously the hot market is the ideal one. But also it's like I enjoy buying in a cold market, but I enjoy selling in the hot market. But buying in a hot market is awful because everyone wants like 90% market price and they're getting offers on 90% market price and is on like a $5 card. So I think I enjoy the cold market more though. It's more tame, I guess, easier to navigate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. I was about to ask you. I was like, but if you could only choose one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't lived through a cold market as a seller yet. Definitely from the collecting side, cold market was way better.
Hmm. Yeah.
I started collecting in 2023 during that lull, right before it would have been spring 2023. So I think Scarlet Violet was the most recent set. Maybe Paldea Evolved had just released. And I was able to find Sword and Shield like crazy when Scarlet Violet 151 released. Like that was abundant, and I opened like hundreds of 151 packs.
Dang.
So like that was a great time to be collecting.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of 151, I actually made a big like investment into that during that time period when it first came out. I was paying like 80 a box, and I
Hmm.
think now it's like 250. So it's
Yeah.
shocking. It's insane.
Yeah, it makes me sad. I probably had between 15 and 20 151 ETBs that I ripped through.
Oh,
I only kept one. You can kind of see it down here.
yeah.
You can see like the very corner of it. I just have one sealed. So I was like, maybe I should have kept more. Because like
Yeah.
now, even the Charizard SIR is cheaper than the cost of a ETB.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think the Charizard SIR dipped below 200. And like you said, the ETBs are around about 250 ish.
Hmm.
So you could sell an ETB and buy the chase.
Pretty much.
Do you have any hot takes that you can share that won't get you canceled?
Uh, I guess I don't know if this is more of a business one, but I think Prismatic Evolutions is going to be like the most expensive or one of the most expensive sets from Scarlet Violet because if you just look at the set list, it's like bound to happen over time, and I think it'll go up in price a ton. And I've been hearing a lot of people saying it's not like they're saying it's a garbage set, but I don't understand that logic. But in terms of like a business hot take, I think um, maybe one hot take I have is like that people don't like is that like incorporating like the coin flips and stuff into doing deals and like all the gambling games on whatnot. That stuff I feel like needs to stop because it's like I feel like it's negatively impacting like the younger generation too. So I don't know. That's my opinion on that. But I made a video on that and people did not like it. So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't do whatnot or any of the rip and ship stuff. Well, I guess I can't say that. I did like a rip and ship giveaway where I just gave 5 people 4 packs of Japanese 151. But like all the gambling stuff and like the seats for the bounties and raffles and stuff like that, it's crazy to me. I don't get it. I would never I would never buy into that crap. But
But a lot of people do because they think like, oh, I can get this Umbreon for $10, but then there's like 1,000 people in that raffle, and I don't know, it's bad.
Yeah. I also don't play the lottery or anything like that. Like I don't do any traditional gambling really either. So
it's scary. Like I've seen a lot of people lose like a lot of money from that. So it's good that you don't do it.
Yeah, I've been to the casino like 2 or 3 times in my adult life, and anytime I was up like a decent amount, I was like, and I'm done. I was like, I don't need to walk that back down.
Yeah.
And any money that I took to the casino, I just planned on losing outright. So
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're getting towards the end of the interview here. So I wanted to dive into some personal questions. What interests do you have outside of like Pokemon and software engineering and stuff like that?
Well, the biggest thing that I do like right now is going to the gym. Like I like to just stay active and work out as much as possible because not as much as possible, just be consistent with it. Like every week I go. Right now I'm going 3 times a week because it's been hard to go more than that. And then spending time like with my fiance and like going out to eat, it's probably the biggest thing that I enjoy doing right now. I used to play video games a lot, like Warzone, any Call of Duties, and then Fortnite, like all the popular ones. But like dealing with like the business and then also having a regular job, it's been hard to play video games a lot. So
yeah,
hopefully one day I can get back to that, but I don't mind that. I don't mind sacrificing that for growing this stuff right now. But what about you?
I used to work out very regularly. I'm trying to get back to it. I actually just built some gym equipment in my garage and organized that. So that should help me with like getting back at it because I won't have to drive to a gym or anything. Outside of that, it is largely just wife, daughter, business and work. Outside of that, I try to play Baldur's Gate 3 with my best friend every now and then. We try to set up time like once a week or once every couple weeks where we hop on and play for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've seen clips of it. It's like a RPG type game, right? Like open world.
Yeah, it's like D&D essentially as a video game.
Yeah, I love games like that. Like I used to play. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like Lord of the Rings Online.
Oh yeah,
I love that game, and RuneScape too. But that's an older one.
Yeah, RuneScape was legit.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. Not a ton of spare time. But speaking of spare time, do you watch any YouTube with the spare time you have? And if so, like what creators do you watch in and outside of Pokemon?
Yeah, I don't necessarily watch a lot lately. Like I think the biggest one is Alpha Investments. I've always watched him for the past few years, and I feel like he has really good advice on just a lot of the things I talk about is like being consistent, and he also says the same thing, and I think that's where I learned it from. Another one would be I don't really watch a lot of YouTube though, honestly. I usually watch movies and like TV shows more so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I watch a show every now and again, like if we start a series, me and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
But most of my like content that I consume is YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you prefer to watch or like watching?
I watch Pokey&E. I watch Catch 'em All Collectibles. I've been watching a lot of your stuff to prepare for this interview.
Thank you.
I like RNG games. So that's just like some of the Pokemon stuff. Outside of that, I watch Pokepair. They're like a opening channel instead of a business channel. And then I watch like a lot of finance content and business content. So I like the Money Guy show. They're financial advisors in Tennessee, I think. And then like Alex Hermosi and some of the other big business guys. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Alex Hormozy, I used to think he was one of those like those like gurus, whatever. But over time, I've realized like his advice is actually pretty solid. I like that guy.
Yeah, yeah, and he made a lot of money before telling people how to make money, which I think is important.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people they start telling people how to make money before they actually do the thing that they talk about. So yeah, I
Yeah.
see what you're talking about.
And then last question here. Do you have any goals outside of the Pokemon business world? And would you be comfortable sharing any?
Honestly, like I've been pretty focused on this. So like all my goals are in a way related to it, but the goal is to be. Let's see. I don't know. I feel like having more free time would be my goal to then like do whatever I want with it. Because right now, I wake up at like 8:30 a.m. and then I sleep at like 1 a.m. I've been doing that for the past like this whole year. So ideally, having more free time because I'm like working all day would be the goal. What I do with that free time, I don't know, but just like the ability to have it would be the goal.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I'm probably pretty similar in that regard of not having a ton of free time. So, well, I would just like to thank you for joining us today, Andrew. And before we sign off, is there any final words of wisdom or advice or anything like that that you'd like to share with anyone?
Well, yeah, first, thank you for having me. Like, this was a great conversation, honestly. I appreciated it. And words of wisdom, the biggest thing I think would be just like be as consistent as you can. And that means like do things. It doesn't have to be perfect every single day, but do like things as good as you can every single day. Don't worry too much about it being like, oh, it has to be the best possible thing, but rather the fact that you're doing it and then you do it every day, like you will get better with the thing. And that could be for anything in life, but like, for example, with the business, like buy collections as much as you can and then try to list them and see which one works the best. And if you do that every day, you will continue to like get more experience and become better at it, which will then, it'll just like pay off so much in the long run. And yeah, I think that's one thing that kind of holds people back or prevents them from growing is like not being consistent. Like they'll maybe do a full sprint for a full day, but then the rest of the week they don't look back at it and then they don't grow like that. So yeah, just doing things every day, like little by little, you will continue to grow your store or whatever you do in life.
I think that's fantastic advice, and honestly, something I struggle with a little bit. So just trying to stay consistent is definitely a goal of mine.
Yeah.
And where can people find you? Are you GemTCG on pretty much every platform?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm GemTCG, so that's GEMTCG. And then on Instagram, it's official GemTCG because when I went to make the Instagram account, apparently that name was taken. I don't know how. Uh, but yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook is what I'm on right now.
Awesome. And then Andrew's YouTube will be linked in the description down below.
One of those places, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us today, Andrew. And yeah, awesome interview.
Yeah.